Alright guys, so welcome to the first video of this project or series. So today we're going to be doing a Halloween makeup tutorial. I don't know if I really want to call it like a gangster clown or just like a clown makeup. We can probably put the picture of the inspiration or where I got the inspiration from. Obviously it's not the same colors, but I'll be doing it a little differently to where I like it. Alright, so since the look, it's more of like a glam clown, I'm gonna go and do my eyebrows. So since this is more like a glam clown, I guess you could say, I feel like I should start with like how my makeup is actually gonna look. And so usually when I start my makeup, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you start your makeup as long as you have it on before you go in with like the actual paint to like add the clown features. I just happen to start with my eyebrows, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Also, if you guys have any like suggestions of what we can do or anything you want to see, because obviously I'm not going to be doing Halloween makeup for all the videos. It just so happens that we started around Halloween, so I thought it'd be a good idea to okay, I'm getting off track. I thought it'd be a good idea to do like a Halloween tutorial, but if you guys have any suggestions on what we should do, you guys are more than welcome to leave like comments or just DMs in my Instagram. I don't know. Whatever you think is easier. So I'd also like to say that I didn't actually practice for this, so we're kind of just winging it. Also, as you can tell, this is obviously optional, but for this look, I figured contacts would make it more like cool looking, I guess. And so I thought I'd give those a try. They feel super weird. So now I'm just gonna go and carve my eyebrows how I usually do. Alright, so I kind of forgot to mention the products I use for my brows. I go in with the Anastasia pomade in dark brown. And then sometimes when I feel like it, I'll just set them with just like a dark brown shadow. I make sure it's not like too warm. It'll make your brow look like really filled in, like it's actually filled in. Like it won't make it look natural. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna prime my lids with concealer. I don't use like an actual primer just because I feel like concealer does the job. Alright, so I just I primed my lids with Maybelline Better Skin Concealer, and we're just gonna blend that out. So now that we went in with the concealer, I'm just gonna set it with the shadow, again using the Morphe 350, this color right here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna set that. The reason why you wanna set your concealer, your primer, whatever you prime with, is so your other colors can blend out nicely or easier. Obviously if you go powder on cream with like an actual, like different colors, then it's gonna just take a lot longer to blend, or probably just won't blend. So you wanna make sure you go in with a powder of like your skin color. Alright, so now we can actually like start working with colors. So now I'm just gonna go in with a transition color. So a transition color is like a contour color, so you're really just like contouring your eyes. So I'm just gonna go in with a light brown as a transition, and I'm just gonna do this one right here. It's just like a light brown. And then do that on my crease. If you don't know where your crease is, just where your bone, like your eye socket bone, that's where your crease is. And you just kind of feel it out. For brush, I'm using a Morphe 433. Okay, so now that we went in with a transition color, we can move on to the actual color that we're gonna use. I'm gonna use green. With the same brush, I don't really think it matters. I'm gonna go in with the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil. And because we're using green, we're gonna be using a lot of different shades of green, from like light to dark, to actually create like the smoky effect. So I'm gonna go in with, so this one right here, these don't have names on them, so yeah, just like a lime, like a dark lime green. So I'm just gonna go in right below the transition color that we just put on. Make sure you don't actually go over like the transition color, because then that just defeats the purpose of it. So this is a little lighter than I expected, but it's okay. You just want to make sure when you use bright colors like this, you just want to make sure it's pretty blended so it doesn't look all weird. So make sure you take your time on the blending part. So now with the darker one, just the one right next to it, is we're just gonna get it on the very tip of the brush, on the same brush since it's like the same shade. Just right below the other one, just to deepen it up. And then obviously same with the other eye. Another good thing to do when you're doing shadow is dusting off the excess, because you don't want to go in with like more shadow than you should. Like you should want to just build it up, that way you don't have to like, you know, rub it off or anything. Obviously you don't want to do that. It's better to just build on it than take away. Okay, so that's enough with that palette. Now we're going to go in with the Subculture palette with Destiny, which is this one right here. It's more of a like a cool green, no, like a darker olive green. That's the color, or that's the word. All right, and we're just gonna put that kind of where we put the other darker green, just kind of over it. And this color will really, you'll definitely see the difference after this one. Alright, so now for the scary part. I'm gonna be adding black to the like center, like the center lid, to smoke it even more. Any black shadow will work as long as it's, you know, very pigmented. Or if you don't want to use black or something as intense as black, you can do like a gray, like a dark gray or light gray. I'm gonna go in with the Saharan palette by Juvia's Place, or Palace? I think it's Place. I'm gonna go in with an e.l.f. I don't know what this is. Just any like flat brush to kind of pack on a color or shadow. And this one is called Chad, if you want to see it. Alright, so I'm first adding it to the center part, and then I'll work my way kind of like around. If that makes sense, if you just kind of watch. So first I kind of just put it on here, and then I'll go around to avoid any like harsh marks where later it could be like a little harder to blend out. So again, like when you have the most product on the brush, you want to put it in the middle first, and then as the brush gets less and less product, then add that, or then work your way kind of around. Back with the brush you used to blend all the green ones. With still product on here, that'll, or because it has like still green shadow on here, that'll help you to blend out the black. So I still see, like on my lash line a little bit, some light parts, like you can still see the color of my skin. So I'm just gonna go in with the brush we used for black to begin with, and bring it like upside down, and then focus it or like cut it on the brush. Cause I mean, it's kind of just preference, but. All right, so when you're satisfied with like the amount or the intensity, you can just stop there. But if you want it even more smoky, then you can go ahead and just, you know, add more color, whatever it is that you want. So far, this is the shadow. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the Vegas Nay Grand Glamour lashes. Grand Glamour lashes. For glue, I'm just using Duo in black. All right, so when you go in with lashes, one thing, I know it's like it can be a little tricky to put them on. So one thing I do recommend is that you wait for the glue to get like tacky, just so it doesn't slide around once it's on your eye. That way you don't get glue all over your eye. And I like to put on my lashes with tweezers because it's a lot easier for me. Some people can do it with their hands. I can't do that. Alright, so now that we have all our eye makeup done, we can move on to the face part. I'm just gonna go in with my regular color foundation. Okay, so my foundation that I am currently using is the Fenty Beauty Pearl Filter in 250, and I'm just gonna pump that on the back of my hand. So I'm just gonna kind of dot the foundation everywhere. I don't use primer, which I probably should, but I don't really see a difference, to be honest. Sometimes primers will make me even more oily than I already am, so I just kind of decide not to use it. But if you do, then by all means do that, or put that on before your foundation. And I'm just gonna blend it with a beauty blender. Okay, so now that we went in with the foundation, we can go with concealer. And I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. And you just want to put that like under your eyes on your forehead. Just kind of like the high points of your face. So your forehead, down the bridge of your nose. Keep it about, well, this is just like where I put it. And then a bit on my chin. The shade that I'm using, just so you guys know, is light medium. Go ahead and blend that out with my beauty blender. Okay, so once you have that blended out, you can go ahead and set that. This will obviously just make it last a lot longer. It won't crease. And if you're gonna be wearing this out all night, then obviously you wanna do that. I'm gonna bake with the Dermablend. I think it's loose setting powder. Using my beauty blender, I'm gonna bake, or I'm gonna like apply the powder. So anywhere where you applied the concealer, you wanna set. So while we let that bake, I'm gonna go in and set the rest of my foundation. So now just going in with a contour color. This one's called Shadow Play. Gonna use the very first brown shade we used as you transition, and go a lot lower than what I would normally do. So you want to make sure that you just go pretty low, again, because we're gonna go in with paint, and we want to make sure all the colors are visible. Now with the light green, again, if you want to see it, just this one. And put that right above the brown we just put. And now with the second to darkest green color, green shade, so basically just repeating the process that you did at the top, but at the bottom. Alright, so now with the Subculture palette, with the last dark green, and that one can go right over the last green. When you are working like on the outer part, you can go ahead and connect it to the shadow on the top. Alright, so now going in with the black. I'm using like a more pointier brush just to really get in under the lashes. And putting the product right on the top to make sure that we don't put it anywhere else. And you want to put this color more on the lash, like the lower lash line. And going in with as much like product as you need to really match the smoky at the top. So you don't want to go in darker at the bottom and then lighter at the top. It'll kind of just throw the whole look off. So now again, to blend all the colors finally together, you want to go in with the brush we've been using for the green and just blend everything. Alright, so finally the part where it actually starts to look more like a clown. Okay, so I'm just gonna be using black paint. This is Miron, I think it's pronounced. Miron Black or Liquid Makeup. I got this off eBay or Amazon. That's it right there. I'm just using some like art brushes just really thin ones so I can really detail it out. But we're basically just gonna do like a triangle right under the eyes and then ones up here. So with the smaller brush, I'm just gonna, okay, so start kind of from each corner of the eye. So I'm just gonna go in with eyeliner just to get a little bit more precise. Now going in with the other eye. Alright, so obviously these aren't like the straightest lines, but you can go in with concealer, which I'm gonna do, and kind of just carve them out. So now to really make these look a lot better, I'm just gonna put a bit of concealer on the back of my hand and with the tiniest amount go in and just fix anything you want fixed. You want to make sure the eyeliner or paint is all dried so you don't mix the concealer with the black. Now for the little circles, you're just obviously gonna do like little dots. So while we let all that dry, we can go back in with the green and maybe add just a bit more shading around, what do you call these? I don't know what they're called, like teardrop? But we can just go in with like more shading to match, just to make it look a little bit more since we covered so much of it with the paint. On the picture, she kind of shades in above the brow, and I kind of like the way that looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so in the picture she uses, it looks like she's using like just like a shimmer in the inner corner, but I chose to use gold flakes. So now to put those, like just in the inner corner, so just to put those on, I use lash glue, and like on the back of my brush, I